Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yakim, pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real quick, which was kind of inspired by, a conversation that I was having with a brother over the weekend, and a different brother, just the other day. But, and combining two of these conversations together, me and another brother, we was talking about, the pleasures of having kids and things like that. And, as, just in the flesh and things like that, as you get older, you want to have kids and things like that. But, and another brother chimed in, is like, nah, this ain't it, and this was coming from a brother with kids. And we understand, the condition of the battle that we're in. So let me go ahead and start out here in Micah 2:10. It says, arise ye. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with the sword destruction. And this is what the main thing that we have to remind ourselves, being in this here flesh, man. Because there's certain things that you would desire, as a, just a regular person, to have kids, to have a wife and things like that. But you have to remind yourself that this here place is polluted, man. All right, this here place is going to destroy you. And this is one of the main burdens that you have on this here earth, is what? Being cast down upon you based off of these, going into, for one, these women, all right, this here system, which is in their favor and everything else like that, man. So, you have to constantly remind yourself about these things, being over here in this, let me grab this real quick, on this here side. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3. Well, let me read verse 5 real quick. It says, the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and everyone by his neighbor, and the child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. All right. And, going into, some of the things we have going on right now, you have certain things, you can't even, how do you say, discipline your children in this society without you becoming a so-called target for, however they would say, child abuse and things like that, when you're just trying to discipline your child. And you look at a lot of these other children that grow up without either fathers in their household and, that lack discipline and everything else like that. You see the end of their route, man. All right. You have these kids growing up unruly. All right. And just doing the worst, man. You see all these little so-called baby kids on the internet with their little challenges and doing all these things because why? They didn't have a parent, to bring out, not to say judgment, but to correct them. All right. Growing up. All right. Let me jump down to verse. Verse 12, it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy path. All right. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors. The point here is, and women rule over them. All right. And then it's their system. In Babylon, the court systems are stacked up against the men in favor of the women. All right, you can have a father that wants to be in the child's life and everything like that. He may have a job. The wife or the baby mama might not have a job. She may be strung out and everything else like that, living off the system. But they'll say, hey, she's better off for having the child. All right, one of the things that is a common occurrence is where people will say, well, where was that child's father at? Where was that child's father in their life? When children go off and they do certain or bad things in this here society, they you see a young boy doing something, that he ain't supposed to be doing. Well, where was his father at? Well, the real question is, well, who raised him? If his father wasn't around to raise him, all right, and to give him that discipline, who actually raised him? All right, it was these single mothers out here, man. All right, so this is, and, again, talking in the conversation with one of the brothers was like, yo, man, this is one of the reasons I, even before coming into the truth, I never wanted to have kids. I was always afraid that a woman would use my children as a weapon against me, man. And that's a horrible thing, for, how these the court systems are set up where these mothers can pretty much, get pregnant, take your child, use the child against you, tell your children all kind of things just to, to finesse themselves into a better place or position, man, because she don't want to work and she wants you to constantly keep giving her money for this, and that. She'll tell your kids, oh, your father don't care about you. If he did, he would have did this and did that for you, did this and did that for you. When the child would just sit around and look like, well, what are you actually doing for me, man? There's a lot of times where these parents are out here paying, or these fathers are out here paying child support, and they're taking the majority of their paycheck. All right. I knew a guy I used to work with. We were making really good money. All right. And he had to go get him a little part-time job working in McDonald's because, the court systems was taking out the majority of his paycheck out for child support, man. while his his baby mother was sitting around without a job. Now she was well enough to work. Well, she wasn't like she had a disability that couldn't work. She just didn't want to work, man. All right, and she had another man taking care of her and everything else like that, man. While this man is over here trying to, they weren't together no more. He's over here trying to put a roof over his head. All right, but they taking out so much in child support out of his paycheck, he got to go get him a second job, man. At a job where you wouldn't even need no second job, man. All right, but hey, nevertheless, this is how we are living in this here society, man, where they can use your children as a weapon against you. All right, and they put the children up against the parents, man. A lot of children, as they're growing up, they think, oh, my father didn't care about me, my father didn't love me, my father didn't do this, my father didn't do that. But the whole time, you're only hearing the story from your mother's side, man. And your mother was out there bitter and everything else like that, man. Maybe because, she didn't have her things together, and she probably chased him off. Now he went and got another woman, all right, and he's actually taking care of this here woman and everything else like that, man. There was a scenario like that on one of those little court shows where the man, had a child by another woman, and now the first baby mama got mad and was like, oh, he deserved to pay more in child support and everything else like that. But the judge was actually being righteous and, actually made the woman have to pay out more or, take less or whatever, because the woman was like, her argument was because he's stupid and he's this and he that. Like, she didn't have a real argument just because she was in her feelings. And the female judge was crazy. She actually saw through all of that BS, man. All right. She's like, well, what do you do for the child? Oh, I take the child and drop him off to daycare and this and that. Like, well, that's your responsibility. That's your child, and your child living with you. Like, what you mean you need extra money because you got to go take the child to daycare, man? He actually wants his child and wants to take care of his child, but you won't let him, but hey, this is not our rest, man. All right, let me read that again. Isaiah 3:12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people which lead thee, O my people which lead thee, O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy path. All right, and hey, this is why we don't have no kind of longevity or no type of like a real heritage to pass things down upon, man. All right, what are we passing down? A trauma. All right, and how to you see these welfare babies and things like that. They passed, especially with the daughters, the mama passed that way of living down to the daughter and everything else like that. You hear this, oh, your daddy ain't shit, this man ain't shit. This is why you have this narrative, oh, I don't need no man and everything else like that, man. All right, but yet and still they're being taken care of financially about these things, man. So this is a hard spot to be in as a father, man. All right, so again, man, hey, your so-called carnal flesh may want to be a father in these times, man. But hey, this is not our rest, man. This place is polluted. It's going to destroy us, man. All right, these systems are built up against us. Let me read this in what is that? Sirach 25, I think it is. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Jump around in here. Sirach 25 and verse 1, it says, "In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before the Most High and men. The unity of brethren." All right, when you see, or you hear about so-called black on black crime and Jake be fighting up against Jake and everything else, that's the worst thing ever, man. But when you see Jake working together with one another, man, brethren working together with one another, man. All right, it says, "In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before the Most High and men, the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors," and neighbors going into our own people, man. All right, because we, majority of Jake live next door to Jake, man. All right, that's why they say love thy neighbor. These Christians get that wrong. You're supposed to love everybody. Well, no, for the most part, Jake lived next door to Jake, even to this day. Esau lived next to Esau, still to this day. And all the other nations live predominantly next door to each other, man. All right, now you do have certain occasions and stuff like that. We're not gonna be simple. There could be a couple of Jakes that live next door to Edomites and vice versa, man. All right, it says, "And a man and a wife that agree together," man. All right, it's nothing worse than seeing a husband and a wife just sitting there arguing and fighting over everything, man. I was talking to another brother about these things, like, that's one of the curses that's upon our people, man. They get into a relationship and he has his agenda, she has her agenda, man. And at the end all be all, they don't ever have nothing to pass down to their children because why? They was both, he trying to be going on his will and she's trying to be Miss Independent and do her own thing, and they never build up nothing together, man. All right, they don't have anything, they're both in competition with one another, man. All right, but nevertheless, hey, it's a beautiful thing when they work together, man. They agree together, man. All right, they're not just sitting over here, I want to do this and I want to do that. And a lot of times these would be those curses where, hey, man, your woman will just sit there and disagree with you just to disagree, man. All right, it's not even that that's what she really want to do. It's just the fact that she's just going to disagree with you just because, man. All right, and sometimes, hey, that's like a supplant, way to supplant them. If you, let's say you want to go to Applebee's, right? You know what I'm saying? And she want to go to Applebee's, but then you like, you know what? I want to go to Outback. Outback. We always go to Outback. How about we go to Applebee's? All right, fuck it. Let's go to Applebee's then. You see what I'm saying? But, if you flip it around the other way, because, hey, Jake has that type of complex, man. All right. Jake will complain about all kind of things, man. You be at a job like, man, they working me all these damn hours. Man, I wish they would cut some of my hours. And then they cut some of your hours. Damn, man, they cutting all my hours, man. I need some more hours. I ain't gonna be able to make it, man. So, hey, man, you see Jake, liking to complain about things no matter what they got, man. All right. Like I said, I can read all of this, but let me just kind of go through this kind of quickly. Let me just jump down real quick. Verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and a 10th will I utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy, man. All right, how many men do you get to see that actually have to see the joy of their children, get to raise up their children, spend time with their children, good time with their children, man? Not over certain conditions and things like that, and just be stressed out over their kids, man. Get to go to the park, maybe go out and throw the ball with their son and things like that, raise their daughters up. That's what's wrong with our how do I say, our community nowadays, man. This is why these our women have bad choices when they dealing with these men out here. They don't know who to choose because why? They don't have the real love of their father in their life, man. All right, and vice versa with the sons to these women, man. All right, they don't have the good how do I say, good healthy relationships with their parents. They didn't even see their parents in a good healthy relationship, so they don't really know what these things are like. They got to see their parents growing up in a toxic relationship, so they think that that's how things are supposed to be. But that's not how it's supposed to be, man. When you see kids grow up in a 2-parent household where the mother and the father are together and they serve one another and things like that, man, that child looks and discerns for those types of things, man. Instead, most of our people grow up in a scenario where it's like, they'll be like, they grew up in a household where their mom and their dad divorced at a young age, or dad wasn't even married to the mom, and she's constantly got different boyfriends. So they think that that's kind of normal. There's nothing wrong with that, man. All right. But nevertheless, hey, man, this isn't what, this isn't how we're supposed to be raising up our children, man. All right. It says, well as him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding, and that have not slipped with his tongue, and have not served a man more unworthy than himself. Well is him that have found prudence, and he that speaketh in the ears of them that will hear. All right. Just keep going on. Let me jump down real quick because for time's sake. Let me read verse 16. It says, I had rather dwell with the lion and the dragon to keep a house with the wicked woman. All right. And there was a comedian, I think it was Chris Rock, that made a joke about this, man. And it was like, yo, man, he's like, every man in here got to smoke something, shoot something, drink something, or do something before he go home to deal with the shit he got to deal with when he get home, man. Where Jake could know about this too, where they had to so-called take the long way home, man. Because hey, man, it's like, yo, as a man, you got to go to work and deal with these other men and deal with those battles of life, whether it be your boss and other men and everything else like that out in the world. All right, the last thing you want to do is come home to a woman that's just arguing and complaining and fussing and arguing about little mundane shit, just shit that don't even make sense, man. Let's just say, hypothetically, she been home all day or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in the kitchen cooking, doing whatever, man. As soon as you walk in the door, you need to take out the trash, you need to do this, you need to do that, take off them damn shoes and this and like, god damn. The first thing you like, what, I just want to take a little bit of peace, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just come home and take off my work boots, man. Let me get out of these wet ass shoes or go take a shower, man. I done been out in the field all damn day, man. Let me just relax for a second before I have to deal with this shit, man. I don't want to have to come home to be dealing with my house is supposed to be my place of peace. All right, I'm supposed to have rest with this here woman when I come home, man. All right, but yet and still, you come home and you have to fight a whole nother battle with her, man. Oh, you came home late. I didn't cook for you. Now the food all cold and everything else like that, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, I had to work overtime so we can make sure we can pay the bills and shit like that. Or vice versa. If you come home on time, I'm going to need you to work some overtime because we need to get this here and that there paid for and everything. So at the end all be all, man, she ain't never satisfied, man. It's always an argument. It's always a problem, man. And this is, this is for you women out there, man. This is a cheat code, all right, to keeping your man at the house, man, and having your man come home on time. Hey, have a nice meal cooked for him. And when he come home, that's, you hear a lot of comedians, they joke about this, man. They be like, yo, we just want a woman just to shut the hell up. All right. And that's not being mean or anything else like that. But just imagine, man, you going through all the things you're going through in the day. Hey, and you women, you understand nowadays because, hey, y'all out in the workforce, man. You got to deal with all the crazy things you got to deal with, Just imagine if you as a woman, you work in a daycare or something like that, and you got to deal with all these kids and all the screaming and everything else like that. Then you come home and you got to deal with your kids screaming, mama, mama, mama. You're like, I just need a break for them and just chill. That's how it is for a man, man. The man has to go out. You don't know what that man has to do, the type of work he's doing. It's probably laborious work. All right. And the last thing he want to do as soon as he walk in the door is hear your mouth just yakking, man. All right. This is why, these men, again, that's why they'll take the long route home. You wondering why your man don't ever come straight home from work. All right. He's always got to make an excuse. Hey, I got to go to the store. Hey, a lot of you women know about that, where that man say he got to go to the store real quick and he'd be gone for an hour, 2 hours, man. And this man is just really just riding around, listening to the radio, getting some peace of mind, man. He ain't even really doing nothing that, that you wouldn't be so-called happy about. He's just riding around just to get peace of mind, just to being quiet, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and brothers in the truth, they be like, yo, before I go home, after I get off work, I'm going to just listen to some videos on the way home, get a little bit of peace in my spirit before I go home and have to deal with that shit, man. All right. Continuing on. Let me read that again. Verse 11, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep a house with a wicked woman. The wickedness of a woman changes her face and darkens her countenance like sackcloth, man. All right, and that happens at a drop of a dime, man. All right, they'll get mad for no reason, man. Just, you see them sometimes like, whatever they be dealing with. You answer the question like the wrong way, she's upset, man. All right, and there's certain ways to deal with these here women, you know what I'm saying, so it don't go all bad. A lot of the times, she come in and she, just dealing with her, basically she just wants you to listen to her so she can sit there and vent and get all her emotions and things out like that, man. But nevertheless, man, hey, if you don't so-called bow down to her in a certain type of way, man, she gonna just flip out. She come home from work and tell you about what Keisha and them did in the office and everything else like that. And I forgot what comedian had a joke like that. Like, oh yeah, how did you feel? So on and so forth. They had the whole little dialogue of what you should be saying instead of just like, why are you telling me about this woman drama and everything else? I don't need to know about their business and everything else like that. But if you say something like that, then all of a sudden she upset with you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, this is what we have to deal with, man. All right. So, hey, man, again, carnally, you may be desiring these things, but hey, this here place is polluted, man. It's going to destroy you, man. It's going to be more of a headache than anything else, man. All right. That's why you hear these people talk about that's the worst thing you could have ever did was have kids out here. Worst thing you could have ever did was get married out here. Why? Because we're under these curses, man. And we have to end all be all this thing, man. That's why we should be laboring to enter into our rest, man. All right. So we can have all these things in righteousness. All right. Verse 18, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, he shall sigh bitterly. Hey, and that's one thing, you might be living out there with Jake, live off in the hood and everything else like that. Sometimes the old lady might be coming down the block or whatever. You just hear that loud mouth from a mile away, man. You just hear, our women, and they just be all high pitched. You hear them in the grocery store all on speakerphone, all loud, and just, man, that shit is just so annoying, man. All right. But nevertheless, hey, it says her husband shall sit among his neighbors. So he out here with the homies. And all of a sudden you hear Big Mouth Keisha coming down the block. Saying, Harold, where you at, Harold? You need to get your ass home and this and that. And he like, man, and it's a shame unto him, man. All right, he can't just not have no peace, man. All right, these are so-called embarrassments to our men. But hey, again, this place is polluted, man. All right, so hey, you got these certain groups that's out here trying to, how do I say, create communities and have the wives and everything else like that, man. Hey, that's not really expedient either at this point in time. All things are lawful, but it's not expedient, man. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out for us, man. That's why we should just be laboring to enter into the rest, man. All right. We're not saying that we hate our women and everything else like that, but look at the condition of everything we got going on out here, man. All right. It's not, again, let me give you a different parable. It's not saying that we don't want to eat no food out here, but look at the condition of all the food. All the food is tainted, man. When you got to go over there looking for organic food and everything else like that, that's a problem, man. All right, we're not saying that, food is, we don't want to eat, we're going to just starve to death. Nah, man, we looking for a new kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. All right, let's continue on. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of the sinner fall upon her. Hey, and, really going into that, man, hey, there's a lot of wicked shit that these women do out here. We're not even going to get into all of those crazy things, man. But, just using the kids as a weapon against the man, and using her alone as against the man, man. All right, because we've all seen it growing up, man. They be able to lie and say all kind of different things. I'm going to go get my brother on you. I'm going to go call the police on you, and if you got a sister or something like that, man, try to stay away from their drama and their BS, man, because you don't know what she didn't wind up doing to get the reaction that she got out of either her man or whoever else out there, man. All right, because hey, you look at these women and you study them hard enough, man. Sometimes the shit that they didn't got themselves into, like I said, they got themselves into those things, man. All right, you can't, they'll be then slipped around with on a man, and now a man come come home and he's all angry and shit, raising his voice at her. Now she want to go call her brother. Oh, he over here tripping. He being all crazy. Now you want to be the big brother, go over there and try to save your sister or whatever, but she out there committing adultery, man. And now look, you done lost your life. You locked up over your sister out here with her wickedness, man. All right. Let me jump down. 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire not her for pleasure. Hey, and that's another thing, you know, coming into this here truth that you have to learn about and understand, man. You know, the more so-called bad that they are, you know, in a so-called looking good sense, the worse off that they really are, man. You know, because they out here buying these looks now. You know, the more of like a Kardashian and things that they looking like, hey, the more problems that they are, man. You know, now I ain't talking about a woman with just some natural beauty and things like that. She's just naturally gorgeous and things like that. But I'm talking about these so-called fine thotties, Tatianas out here, man. All right, they ain't nothing but trouble out there, man. Because look, she gonna go out, want all this male attention and everything else like that, and you just constantly just gonna be in a battle for her ass out there, man. And she gonna always know and use that as leverage. I can go get me another man and this and that. And she gonna use that as leverage against you, man. All right, so hey, man, you know, and really, you should be desiring a woman for helpmeet, not for what she got between her legs, man. All right, I always give this analogy, man. You don't go to the car dealership to buy a car because it's got seats in there. Every car that you got should have seats in there. So that should be that's a given that the car that you're gonna buy has seats already. All right, look for a car that's gonna be how they would say not a reasonable car, but a so-called useful car, or there's a different word I'm looking for, a car that pretty much makes sense. All right, if you're going to be hauling around, like, let's say you got 5 kids and they kind of in school, they play after school sports and things like that. It's not going to be really cool for you or reasonable for you to go get you a 2-door drop top sports car. All right, how the hell you going to fit all your kids and all their sports gear up in there, man? It's going to be pretty wise for you to go out and get you an SUV or something else like that, man. Or you on a farm, or you got some type of heavy duty work that you're doing. It's not good for you to go out and get a motorcycle. You might as well go get you a pickup truck, man. All right, so in the same thing, out here when looking for these women, man, get you a useful woman, man. All right, you know, as a helpmeet, man. All right, you know, hey, I'm in this position now, knowing how it is to get up and go to work and have to come home and then do the same things that the homely type things, man. Doing some cooking, cleaning, laundry and shit like that, you know, and also, you know, dealing with your own little side personal business and things like that, man. There's little small things that, you know, I need to get done for just that, but it's just like, man, I don't really have the time for all that stuff right there, man. It's just like, you know, dealing with, you know, just regular work and other business type stuff going on and everything else like that, plus, you know, working for the Lord and doing the truth and everything else like that, man. I might have to go fill out a, you know, what they call like a W-9 or some shit like that. Like, man, I ain't got 10, 15 minutes to fill out this here form, but hey, you know, a proper woman will go out there and fill out those forms for you, man. Or I need to order some new shirts or put some logos on these things. Hey, but, you know, I ain't really got time for that right now. But, hey, a useful woman will be able to add that to you, man. All right. You know, a lot of these men are out here chasing these women for their so-called beauty. Oh, she got a fat ass and she looked like this and that. Hey, but she's more of an asset or she's more of a liability than an asset, man. All right. Continuing on. It says a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudent, and much a reproach, you know, and this is like a so-called problem for these women. I don't need to be submissive to no man, have to come home and cook for him and this and that. Hey, man, y'all should be a team, man. All right, now we both going to work and let's say we got kids. Who gonna feed the kids? You know what I'm saying? Oh, the nanny gonna feed the kids. Well, if I got a goddamn nanny, what do I need you for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? You know, and then, hey, look you know, these so-called single mothers, they say that they all the strength and everything else like that because why? They go to work, they have to come home, cook and clean and everything else. Like, you didn't have to do all that beforehand. This is what y'all asked for, man. All you had to do was maintain the children in the house. Before we was going out to go and do all the work, but now you want to go and do all of that plus go out and work 8 to 12 hours a day, man. All right, continuing on. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband is in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Hey, man, sometimes, you know, women have a certain thing with their tongue, man. All right, they just speak power, really, and give motivation to their men. All right, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, baby, it'll be okay, or you can do this. I believe in you. Things like that, man, will make it go a lot further for your man. And women just don't understand it. It's something that my grandmother taught me as a long, like when we was children, man. And, you know, with all my female cousins, they taught them the same thing too. Hey, watch how you talk to the men that's around you, you know. And I got like pretty much all female cousins, and hearing how my grandma used to tell them, Hey, man, you want your man to do a little bit better, encourage him, give him encouraging words. But look at our women now. You ain't shit. You ain't gonna never be shit. This and that. Hey, man, but if you just like, why you think in these sports teams and shit like that, like football, why you think they got cheerleaders? And why you think the cheerleaders are predominantly all women? They cheering on the man. Yeah, you can do it. Go further, further, further. So now the man want to work harder for the woman, man. You know, these men out here getting these nice fancy cars and busting their back and everything else like that to get this here woman, man. But hey, if a woman is out there speaking encouraging words to their man, hey, they can be built up better as a team, man. Oh, I believe in you, baby. I believe in your dream. I believe in this and that. But hey, what are they really saying to our men, man? They out there, oh, you ain't shit. You ain't gonna never be shit and blah, 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 blah. I need somebody on a higher level. You ain't really worth shit, man. All right? Hey, this place is destroying us, man. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. All right, and hey, you can see, just look at where we at right now, man. We can go back into the feminist movement and the welfare state and all these different things like that, man. All right, where look at the condition that we in now, man. They kicked out the men of the household, and now look at how we being raised up in a single parent households and everything else like that, man. All right, you try to marry this here woman and you try to have kids and raise them up in a righteous sense, but look, the majority of these divorces are how you say enacted by these women. They're the ones causing these divorces and leaving their husbands. It's not the men that's leaving the women, it's the women that's leaving the man. It's not even beneficial for the men to try to leave the women, because the woman's gonna leave with half of his shit, and she can keep getting another man and leaving with half the shit and getting more and more babies. That's just more money that she's making, man. All right, let me close out with this, man. I'll quote what is that, Matthew chapter 19 and 27. Hey, you know, he that let me just grab it real quick. Let me bring out two precepts. Matthew 19 and 27. You know, let me just get to the point. You know, because Peter asked, hey, we have forsaken all. You know, like the scripture say, this is not our rest. All right, you know, but Peter said, hey, look, we've forsaken all. You know, even the fleshly desires and things like that in this here lifetime, right? What are we going to get there for? All right, let me just jump down to verse 29. It says, and everyone that has forsaken houses, or brother or sister, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. All right, and to pair that with, you know, the law, statutes, commandments going to be written on our inward parts. All right, let me grab this as well, too, in Isaiah. The law, statutes, commandments going to be written in our inward parts. You know, everything is going, yep. Let me read this real quick. Isaiah 60 and 21. Thy people also shall all be righteous, and they shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I might be glorified. And a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in his time. All right, so what? You forsaken these having children and families and wives and things like that, man. You're going to have this as 100-fold, man. You're going to have a multitude of children, but not just that, you're going to have them all in righteousness. Why? And we're going to all be righteous. You're not going to be sitting here arguing with your woman, because look, the law, statutes, commandments going to be written inside of us. So we're going to all be righteous at this point in time, man. All right, we're going to all be thriving. You're not going to be having to come home to a bickering, backering woman. All right, your kids all out of line, rebelling and things like that, man. You're not even going to have to discipline them, man. They're going to just come out all righteous, man. You're going to be out there, be able to say you're proud of your son, teaching your son how to, you know, just to thrive and how to live, man. All right, this is what we have in store for our future, man. So, hey, don't let this be a heavy burden onto you in this here world if you don't get to, how do I say, obtain or partake into these things, man. Hey, talk to some brothers that did get to walk down those paths, that did get married and things like that, did have children, and, you know, the burdens that they go through right about now, man. All right, so, hey, you ain't really missing out on anything. If anything, the Most High is having mercy upon you, man. All right, because, hey, these things can heavily destroy you, man. All right, have you bugged out here? But nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation, much love for you, Aki, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.